Hello everyone, in this video I recommend you the show Stranger Things. I will talk about things that you may not know, similar films, the story and the critic about it, the cast and much more. Stay until the end. Without any further ado, let's start! Ash, start the hologram! Stranger Things is a TV show released on July 15, 2016, created by the Duffer Brothers and distributed by Netflix. The show has 4 seasons, however, it has been confirmed that it will end in season 5, which is estimated to come out in 2024. The production of Stranger Things invested $6, $8, $10 and $30 million per episodes of seasons 1, 2, 3 and 4 respectively. This totals $48, $72, $80 and $270 million per respective season, and a grand total of $470 million to make all the 4 seasons of the show. The story achieves a recreation of a time that many adults are nostalgic about, set in the 1980s in a fictional town in Indiana, United States, called Hawkins. The show maintains a good level of mystery, horror, and fiction, which creates a level of tension that won't get you bored, and you'll also want to see how the different love stories evolve. To determine the genre of Stranger Things, we'll use this graphic as you can see. I will put it between horror drama and fiction, because it has a good amount of both genres. It can be considered a horror drama as it contains scary scenes and dramatic elements, and also a fiction since it has multiple imaginary and fictional elements. Now, there are some similar films in which we can see a group of young friends living in the same town, where they will be surrounded by an atmosphere of intrigue, fiction or horror. These are Lock and Key, Super 8, The Goonies, Harry Potter, and Rim of the World. We also have Troll Hunters as an animated series. For a slightly older audience we have It, 2017, where we see Finn Wolfhard again, Twilight, Beautiful Creatures, I Am Number 4, and Teen Wolf. There is also a documentary after show called Beyond Stranger Things, in which the actors and actresses talk about how the Stranger Things show was made, as well as behind the scenes content. The 4 seasons of Stranger Things are classified as TV-14 in the USA according to IMDb. You can also check the recommended age in your country. The show's script was written by brothers Matt and Ross Duffer, and it is very good. It keeps the mystery going without neglecting the evolution of the characters, and it has a very well selected cast where the performances will not disappoint us. The direction is also in charge of the Duffer Brothers, and the cinematography was done by Tim Ives. Many of the soundtracks were made by Kyle Dixon and Michael Stein, along with their music band Survive, plus other soundtracks by other great bands. The Duffer Brothers are working on the following projects alongside Netflix: the adaptation of The Talisman, novel by Stephen King and Peter Straub of 1984 alongside Steven Spielberg, and a new live-action adaptation of Death Note. Both of these will be TV shows and are expected to have around 8 or 9 episodes each. Another film directed and written by the Duffer Brothers was Hidden, 2015. In the Wayward Pines show they also participated in the direction and production. A curious fact is that the villains and many situations in Stranger Things are based on the popular tabletop role-playing game Dungeons & Dragons. The duration of the episodes varies between 42 and 139 minutes as we progress through the seasons. It's just enough to leave us wanting to watch the next episode. Some of the main actors and actresses that star in the show are Winona Ryder as Joyce Byers, who is 51 years old as of October 22, 2022. She received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on October 6, 2000, and she was also nominated for 2 Academy Awards in other occasions. She has also protagonized movies like Bram Stoker's Dracula, Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, among others. Millie Bobby Brown as Eleven, who is 18 years old as of February 19, 2022. She was born in Spain and knows how to rap. She was also born with partial hearing loss and lost hearing in her left ear. We can find her in movies like Godzilla vs. Kong, Godzilla King of Monsters, Enola Holmes 1 and 2. Finn Wolfhard as Mike Wheeler, who is 20 years old as of December 23, 2022. We can find him in movies like Ghostbusters Afterlife and It, 2017. Caleb McLaughlin as Lucas Sinclair, who is 21 years old as of October 13, 2022. Noah Schnapp as Will Byers, who is 18 years old as of October 3, 2022. Gaten Matarazzo as Dustin Henderson, who is 20 years old as of August 9th, 2022, and Natalia Dyer as Nancy Wheeler, who is 28 years old as of January 13th, 2023. Since 2016, she has been in a relationship with Stranger Things co-star Charlie Heaton as Jonathan Byers, who is 28 years old as of February 6th, 2022. David Harbour as Jim Hopper, who is 47 years old as of April 10th, 2022. We can find him in movies like Black Widow or Violent Night. Joe Keery as Steve Harrington, who is 30 years old as of April 24th, 2022. We can also find him in movies like Free Guy. And lastly, Sadie Sink as Max Mayfield, who is 20 years old as of April 16th, 2022. Next I will talk about the story, which may contain some spoilers. In Season 1, the show begins with Mike, Lucas, Dustin, and Will, a group of friends who likes to play Dungeons and Dragons and have been friends for years. Will disappears and everyone starts looking for him. His mother, Joyce Byers, begins to see signs and experience strange events, which leads her to believe that Will is still alive, and starts using Christmas lights to communicate with Will. Eleven, a girl with telekinetic powers, will also join the show. In this season, we also learn about the existence of the Upside Down, another dimension inhabited by monsters and darkness. The main villain of this season will be the Demogorgon, a humanoid monster with long claws and a flower-shaped head with a lot of teeth. Season 2 begins with Will Byers having dark visions, which worries all of his friends. It seems like Will is still somehow connected to the Upside Down world. The main villain of the season will be the Mind Flayer, a giant, shadowy, spider-like monster who controls the Demogorgons and Demodogs, similar to the Demogorgon but dog-shaped instead of humanoid. In Season 3 we'll have a new mystery. People start disappearing and others show rather unhuman behaviors. Is it possible that the Upside Down has returned? The main villain of this season will be the Mind Flayer once again, but now with a physical form made of human bodies and thousands of rats. Finally, in Season 4, some people begin to be stalked by an evil entity and then be killed by it. The protagonists are now older and have become teenagers now. Furthermore, they split up as Eleven, Joyce, Will and Jonathan leave Hawkins and head to California. And on top of all that, the police begins to suspect of one of the new friends of Mike, Lucas and Dustin, who is Eddie Munson. The main villain of Season 4 is Vecna, a monster with the ability to enter the mind of its victims. This monster will be familiar to Eleven. From an objective criticism of this story, we can say that we've already seen supernatural enemies that face our heroes in many other movies, but in favor of Stranger Things, there are few movies in which a group of teenagers form a team to fight the villains, and Stranger Things really makes us feel like that group of friends is real, because their different personalities blend really well, their performances also being so believable. There aren't that many major deaths in Stranger Things, but just like the plot, I'll separate them by seasons, starting in Season 1 and then moving on to the later seasons. Keep in mind that I will not talk about fake deaths. In Season 1, we'll say goodbye to a secondary character, being Nancy's friend, Barbara Holland, in Episode 3 of this season. Similarly, in Season 2, we also only have one, being Bob Newby, in Episode 8 of this season. Again, we only have one in Season 3, which is Billy Hargroves. He says goodbye in Episode 8 of this season. In Season 4, we also have only one death, which is that of Eddie Munson, in Episode 9 of this season. Well everyone, that's all for this video. I'll say goodbye with what I think is a greeting humans use.